a very, very powerful deck. I actually missed the dice roll. Who's going to go first?
So I think Jay is gonna go first. I think he said that, yeah. You probably want the dice roll? Or... Is this a bastard? Is this a bastard? This is a bastard!
Full pass.
Literally, the Maliss player didn't have any card. But he has the Purulia, which is decent against Melodious, but not that great because you are probably gonna summon and pendulum summon, so normal summon, pendulum summon, but you have a way to go around that while you can just activate the Ostinato and go like the Branded Fusion.
Yeah, it's one of those, maybe it's just one of those charmy hands. I feel like you'd be expecting almost to see another one. And here it comes.
The first technology
Eva.
that you talked about. It is the Eva. The Eva that we are not used to see in the main deck of the Melodious, but he decided to just use this card and it's gonna go crazy because now he's able to add from the deck to the end thanks to the Eva effect. And in addition to that, there is no Purulia anymore, so...
Yeah, what do you think? I understand. So I can see the 3 Herald of Orange Light. That makes perfect sense to me. You're running lots of fairies. But then you see a Herald of Green Light, and I'm like, okay, sure, maybe we want to negate the Mitsurugi ritual spell. That makes sense. But then we're seeing Herald of Purple Light also in the main deck. We're like, what is that for?
I mean, they are beautiful. They're beautiful.
They are beautiful. We're running all the colors of the rainbow.
I mean, yeah, there is always this feeling that you might play more Heralds, and especially the Green Light, because the Green Light are pretty decent in this format. They're very good against the ritual, the Mitsurugi ritual, but against Maliss they are a bit worse because you can only negate the field spell, which is okay, I guess, but not that great. So yeah, but Kevin decided to play even the Purple Light, which is a bit weird, I have to say.
Maybe we're just negating these Maliss traps. This is one of
Yeah.
the few cards in the format that like interact with them at all, I think.
But here we are going to summon the back half from the extra deck, and this card is absolutely insane. It can summon from the main deck and also makes all fusion monsters, Melodious fusion monsters, unable to get negated.
It's a pretty neat effect. It's probably going to trip people up as well. If you read the card, you might not see that bit and try to Ash Blossom. You were kind enough to remind me not to do it, but I suppose you had to because it was in French when you played it against me.
It was a kind of you know, reminder. It was a combo tutorial that I did to you, and it's interesting because here he decided to summon the Soprano in the center middle zone, and this is a bit special because usually you don't want to special summon in this zone because you have a Link card in the extra deck which has to special summon in the pointed zones. So you try to avoid the zone.
That makes sense. I'm wondering, what do you think you're trying to do against the Maliss deck in terms of interruptions? Because when we played yesterday, you were playing the Schuberta, is it?
Yeah.
That banishes 3 from the grave. And that's a
Absolutely.
super powerful interruption against every deck, except for Maliss, maybe. So what's the plan?
That is the problem. When I told you that you'd better win the dice against Maliss, it's because Maliss is very strong against Melodious, because Melodious only has 2 ways to interact with the opponents. The first way is by banishing the cards from the graveyard with the Schuberta that I showed you yesterday, but the other one is only bouncing the cards, you know, sending the cards from the field to the hand, and there is not much else. So you don't have much flexibility with Melodious. You only have 2 ways to interact, and of course the Aria, which is very strong. You can see it in the graveyard right now. So the Aria is states that Melodious monsters cannot get destroyed by battle and cannot get targeted. But of course the Maliss player doesn't care about that. So this is a bit of a weird spot because you have to rely on your free spots. Basically like the Ash, the Imperms, and every single tool that you have, and of course the Heralds that we saw earlier.
Yeah, these Heralds looking very powerful. Getting to use 2 Heralds on his first turn. Hoping, I guess, that there's no more interruptions from Jay, because if there was, that would have been devastating, because I think he's out of cards in his hand.
The problem is that here Jay had some Bestials, and Bestials are pretty strong against Melodious, and he got rid of the Chopina, which you did yesterday when we dueled. And it's a pretty good target because the Chopina allows you to just get the cards back from the graveyard, especially the Melodious card, but also the Heralds.
So do you think Kevin's going to have enough to either put out a very strong field or maybe go for 8,000 damage this turn.
I mean, he will for sure not end the game right there on the spot, but he might be able to win the game just because Jay doesn't have a lot of interaction.
Well, here comes another one.
Ooh, the Nib is there, and that's a problem because usually you are able to play around Nibiru, but here it didn't. So because it didn't go through Etoile. Etoile is a way you play around Nibiru because first you have a way to banish yourself, and then she comes back in the end phase. So boom.
Yeah, you can banish
doesn't
your whole
matter.
field, right?
But also, if she gets sent to the graveyard or banished by an opponent card effect, then you are able to special summon from the deck or extra deck. So you can just get back to your combo.
Yeah, it seems like it does quite a lot. Jay cleaning up the field. I feel like that's a little risky because I don't think Melodious can use the token
Absolutely,
at all.
absolutely.
But what they can do is make use of having an empty field. And Kevin has drawn a fresh card off the concerto. So if that was a ostinato or a first movement solo, would he not be able to just use it?
Yeah, they would be able to do so. So that's very risky, and I think Jay shouldn't have done that, knowing that his opponent was playing Melodious, because of course you said that very correctly. You want to have an empty field, you don't want to have some bodies on the field. That's why you are not playing cards like Phantasme or Nibiru, because you don't want to have this extra body. And here we have the Concerto that we saw earlier, and this Concerto is a very good card because you can fuse using monster on your field, in your hand, but also monsters in the pendulum zones. So he wanted to do that to just extend a little bit more, but Jay has the impulse, which is coming in clutch right here.
Yeah, Jay having a full hand of hand traps, which is quite impressive. I don't think he's kind of fully revealed what he's playing yet. I think it's a good guess when you see the suite of hand traps that Jay is playing that it's probably Maliss, but we obviously kind of know this, so maybe we think it's obvious because we're watching it and we have the deck list in front. I feel like, you know, by the time you see Impulse and Bestials, it's like, it's probably Maliss, but maybe someone is teching these in their, like, Mitsurugi deck, for example. You could play a pure Mitsurugi deck. They normally run Dominus Impulse and at least one Nib.
Absolutely, and here we saw the best move of Melodious, the Arya wall. Because Arya got summoned on the field, and once she special summoned on the field, as I told you earlier, he cannot destroy all the Melodious monsters by battle. So this is the last line of play that Kevin has. It's not a lot, there is no interruptions, but I mean, he couldn't do more.
Yeah, I think the players just passed back and forth there. It looked like Jay drew a card and then passed his turn, so...
He's gonna go to Link 2, I guess.
Do we run 2 of the Link 2? We do.
I mean, yeah, he does. Some people just chose to run one of them, but I think 2 is fine for the grind game, and here it is good for him because he can get access to his engine again, especially the Soprano, which can allow him to fuse, or the Refrain here, because the Refrain will be able to add back the couplet from the deck, and the couplet will be able to special summon from the graveyard.
Okay, and then that will get the Soprano once again, I suppose.
So he should be able to make a strong field over here.
Do you think you're probably fearing maybe like another Nibiru, but you can't even use another Nibiru because of the Dominus Impulse? I don't know what you're afraid of at this point.
To be honest, from that point on, Kevin is pretty... I mean, he's chilling. He doesn't have anything to fear, to be honest, because there were already a lot of bestials were used. We saw the Magnamut, we saw the Tourism as well. So I don't think that you fear anything at that point. You
That's
just
good.
you just fuse and
Yeah.
and control the game from that point.
Playing with no fear. Sometimes you can see like ghosts when you're playing, can't you? You think, oh, I should definitely need to win. I just need to watch out for this one last interruption they might have, and then you end up doing a bit of a weird play that probably isn't the best if you just kind of play along normally and leave it to your opponent to figure out how to defend themselves, and you just focus on your combos.
So yeah, Kevin here watching his graveyard and trying to see the line. I think he's going to go through Baka. I think the play here is just, yeah, summoning Baka, and yeah, this is what he's doing right now. Now he's going to be able to special summon from the deck.
Baka is just, it's an unbelievable fusion monster, isn't it?
It is very good. It's very good, and that's why Ostinato is a very strong card, because it allows you to special summon this awesome card and to put some gas in the graveyard as well. So
Yeah.
here he decided to special summon Cannon, which is not that great. So basically, Cannon can special summon itself from the hand once per turn if you control a Melodious card.
Okay, and do we prefer that? So he's already actually running 3 copies of the Sonata.
Sonata.
So why do people prefer Sonata over Cannon?
That is a very good question because Sonata is not once per turn. So you can literally summon it back
okay,
again
okay.
and again.
So you could just summon them all. And the Sonata also giving this 500 boost.
Yeah,
Being
absolutely.
used to clear the Nibiru. And is this... It looks like a lot of damage. It must be. It's giving 500 to all the monsters.
It is a lot of damages, and even if Jay survives, he's not going to be able to activate any Maliss effect, so...
That's a good point, actually, yeah. It's quite fun against Maliss. Sometimes you just put them down low and say, oh, well, I didn't end the game, but if you don't have any life points, you can't use any of your effects.
So they're going to do a little bit of calculation
Yeah,
right
some-
here.
some
Jay,
quick maths. You know all the attack. You must have worked this out. Can Sonata not, sorry, Cannon not have put the Nib into defense and then you could attack over it with a...
absolutely.
Oh, it has to target a Melodious you control, though.
Absolutely. It can target Melodious card that you control, and that's why he used it on the Sonata, because the Link 2 only special summons in defense position.
Ah,
is important.
Okay, okay.
And yeah, 800 life points for Jay. A lost card to draw. Is he gonna be able to go through this field? 5 monsters, but no disruptions.
Yeah, I was going to say, was that not something he could do? I suppose, do you lock yourself into Melodious monsters when you use the Link 2? Is that right? So
Absolutely.
maybe if you're out of... They don't have any XYZ, so I guess you need to fusion or not.
That is the huge downside of going into the Link 2, because then you are not able to go through, like, for example, the Baguska or the SP Little Knight, all these toolbox in the extra deck. But yeah, to win 2 games in a row now because he's back against the wall.
Yeah, hopefully for him, he'll find a few more engine pieces than he did at the beginning of the last game.
We hope so.
Probably won't have any Molcharmies at the very least, because you probably push those into the side deck.
So, is Jay gonna have something to play? He's thinking a lot, watching his hand, and okay, he's starting with I Meet You, which is kind of a weird way to start the game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe sometimes it's just what you got to do.
So he's gonna get access to the backup, I guess.
Yeah, I think this is one of those cards you see people not put in the main deck, but if you want some extra engine, if you're taking out your Molcharmies, then you can put these in, and then they're not like ideal as the only starter, but if you have the only starter, it just about works.
Yeah, especially because there are good cards to just extend through Lancia, which is a big of a threat in these tournaments. But here, it looks like Jay only has the backup to start. It is not a backup plan, it's just a starting point of the whole strategy here.
It's quite funny, I hadn't thought of that. You know, it's not the backup plan, it's just it's
And
plan A.
he's gonna add the Dormouse and probably discard the Dormouse, I guess.
Yeah, I guess if that's the plan, so that means what?
Oh! Discarding this first.
It's interesting, so it must mean he's valuing his other cards a little more. Maybe he's got 2 thrusts, you never know.
So, is there like a March here or something like that? Because otherwise, it's gonna be pretty hard to continue playing from now on.
Surely if you had March here, you'd not discard Thrush, you'd discard Dormouse.
Yeah. So that's why. Oh.
Oh my goodness. A very unfortunate hand for Jay. Two games in a row, and Kevin with the premium starter once again.
Yeah, the first movement. First movement is kind of like Ostinado because you need not to have any monster on the field, but it is a lot weaker because you can only special summon 1 monster from the deck. So you have 2 ways to start. Either you have something to play in your hand, and then you can special summon the Aria right away, or if you don't have anything in hand, then you can special summon the Refrain, which can add the couplet from the deck to the hand. And here we have the duel and Logbird, so we can only hope for Kevin that he does have. Oh, he does have something else, and he does because there is the Herald and the Eva. So he's gonna negate once again the interruption from Jay.
So yeah, I mean, this is premium for Kevin once again. Like, I know we were talking about the Herald a lot as a way to interrupt your opponent, but Herald can do something which other hand traps can't, which is negate your opponent's hand trap. So in that sense, I mean, giving up 2 cards going second, and maybe your opponent's still going to have a field, and you're not going to have too many cards, but giving up 2 cards going first and get your opponent's like draw a lockbird or whatever, I feel like everyone would take that in a heartbeat. So they're just having a discussion now.
It shows something. It shows something. It shows that Kevin really has to rely on the add of Concerto with Couplet. Otherwise, he wouldn't have negated that. He would have kept that for maybe a Nibiru or something like that. But here, he really wanted that that surge to go through. So Jay knows that Kevin is low in engine right now.
They're just having a bit of a discussion.
Maybe this is something about the chains or something like that, because from what I can see, this is pretty clear to me.
Yeah, you just got to figure out all the different chains sometimes, right? So you add one, and then in a new chain you activate draw, and then you herald, and then in a new chain. Yeah.
So he's adding the purple light.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Because impulse is pretty scary.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't just negate hand traps. You know, you have to negate traps as well.
So this is interesting. He had another refrain in hand, so and he decided to negate that. But now here is the Ash Blossom, and the problem is that you don't have the Herald anymore to just get rid of the Ash Blossom.
But what you do have is a Link Summon, and hopefully for Kevin, he's got 3 cards. One for the
Meows.
That's how you play around Meows. You just don't summon any monsters.
That is the way to play around it, yeah.
Sad for Jay.
So he's gonna summon the Soprano and probably the Chopina, I guess. He's looking into his deck, and yeah, this is the Chopina, of course, because you have to special summon 2 monsters, but from with different levels. So here we've got a level 4 and the Chopina.
And this can Chopina can just start adding back like fairies, right? This is a bit of a lock once you've resolved it, and if you resolve it and you get to add back, oh my, he's adding back Eva. Oh, because he banished the Herald. Oh,
Totally.
Okay.
Totally. Usually with some classic version, you like to add back the Herald, but here, as it's banished, you can add Eva, which is even more gas for the purple light.
Yeah, so you discard and then it searches more. As Eva must be once per turn, right?
It is
I
not.
It's not?
Absolutely
Oh my
not.
goodness. Okay.
I mean,
We're just going.
if you can summon it back, then you can add back again. So
Oh, wow.
this is a very, very good card. Oh! And he's playing the card to end the game. Basically, you can do multiple attacks, depending on how many monsters you used for the summon. So you can gain 300 per monster used for the summon, and I think you can battle twice.
So it's a 2,500 double attacker. That's quite a lot of attacks. 5,000 right there. And Jay had to take 2,300 because he activated I Meet You without
It's gonna be
summoning
game.
the monster.
It's gonna be game. So here is the first attack, then the second one. And it's gonna be hard for Jay to come back from that.
Can you not attack with the Link?
Yeah, I think he just forgot.
No,
forgot?
you
No,
can't just
no
forget
way,
to,
no way, no
to
way.
attack directly. That doesn't...
No way, that's not possible.
That's not... You're the Melodious expert here. I can direct all my questions at you.
And we have the starter, we have the Dormouse, of course, which was added last turn with the backup. But we have the Lancia! The Lancia for Kevin. It's going to be really hard for Jay to come back from that. He's going to go through Linkuribo, but will he have the extender? Another I Meet You there. He's going to be able to add another backup and try to extend from that point. Maybe even the Wizard.
Yeah. Can Lancia is it a light fairy as well? Can we add these? We can add these back with Shapina. Discard them for heralds. It is, right?
That is right. That is correct.
That's quite fun. I mean, I don't think it's too too big of a deal, but it is it is quite entertaining. So you can just add these back with Shapina. Here we go. Only
Okay.
only downside is, I guess, you can't use either this turn if you've used Lancia.
Wow, what a game, but very unfortunate from the side of Jay, having to face a brick, literally game 1. And game 2, he has to face the Lancia with a very weak start.
I'm wondering, it's quite funny here, so the AI meet you will deal 2300 damage if you don't summon Red Ransom. So if you just like, you know, play your Black Goat Laughs, call Red Ransom, or whatever.
It's over. The
Yeah.
game is over.
We'll just take 2300.
And Kevin is ready.
Kevin's like, how can I do this? How can I prevent him from summoning it? So you can be burned out by your own
But the
card.
thing is, you don't have any much to defend yourself as Kevin.
Yeah, he's got a Herald and an Eva, right? But it's the purple one.
It's a purple one, so it's not the best one. And Jay is just able to just continue to play. And I think that Jay might just take the game right here.
Well, he is still under Lancia. I
Yeah,
suppose
that's right. Forgot
Kevin's
about that.
gonna be thinking back, like, why did I take the purple one again? It's like, it makes perfect sense if your opponent had Impulse and you'd feel like a genius. And but then your opponent, like, doesn't have Impulse, and then they haven't used any traps, and now if you just think, oh, if I just added the orange light, then I'd probably be a lot happier right now, but you're never to know.
Yeah, the problem here is that he doesn't have a lot of cards, a lot of engine cards, because we know the cards in hand. Of course, the purple light and the Eva. And the problem is that if Jay is able to remove the bodies from the field, then what is gonna do Kevin? Because he doesn't have a lot to just start again playing.
Yeah, here comes the
Wizard.
Wizard. So I guess we can make the big Echoed Talker if he's running that.
Absolutely.
Seems like it makes sense to me.
Absolutely. And all of a sudden, even under Lancia, Jay would have achieved something great.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a significantly lower ceiling under Lancia, but we're seeing here it's not 0. You can still
And it is
still have a go. Oh,
it
it's
is a white
binder.
binder.
Okay. We spoke too soon.
doesn't look like an Echo to me. He's gonna be able to set the trap card.
Maybe he's like really valuing this GWC. Just to go up a few life points. It's the only way to get back all of those life points that you're paying.
And it is the MTP,
But that's MTP, yeah, not GWC.
which is fine. The problem is that, of course, you have to face the purple light, so
Yeah, I guess any trap is a little weak into purple light. I guess you don't even want to activate it because you don't want to give your opponent a chance to discard either.
I mean, okay, we have a second card, and we pass turn. So Kevin drew his card. Is he able to just start playing again? He has the couplet to add the concerto and try to just fuse from that point. Jay is sinking, but yeah, it's gonna go through.
Jay has only 1,000 life points, so it's enough to activate one Maliss link. Which sounds a little low to me, also leaving yourself on 100.
It is very low. I can tell you that you are sweating when you are in this position, of course. And Kevin now has the concerto, so he can just go through backhand the extra deck.
You know what's quite fun is, you know, now that your opponent's on so few life points, you can play Schubert and just like banish all of the things from their grave and be like, do you want to summon it back?
Absolutely.
Guess you can't. How does it feel?
So he's reading a little bit the Link monster, but of course no effect on the field for the moment.
What do you think of just like going to the battle phase?
It could be a solution, but you still have the... oh, he's switching very quick. Of course, you want this Concerto to resolve, he's gonna use boss monsters and go to Baka, try to special summon from the deck, and this is what's really strong in Melodious, because with the Baka you are able to special summon the refrain, adding the couplet, and the couplet special summoning back from the graveyard, and all of a sudden you have 3 monsters on the field. So he's trying to... Oh!
That's going to negate the whole effect, right?
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
this is a very strong interaction, because here, not only you negate the Baka, but you also are able to banish 3 cards from the graveyard of Kevin, and this is very strong. Banishment from the graveyard is a strong interaction against Melodious, because you cannot get your cards back from the banish.
So this is making me sound like a Melodious mirror is going to be a nightmare of Schuberta's flying and banishing and...
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, Kevin is in a bit of a tough spot here, and Jay somehow has managed to do something great under Lancia.
It's going to go down to only 100 life points though if he brings back the White Binder. But I guess you kind of have to make that trade.
You have to, yeah. It's very important, because you don't want Kevin to just start doing things again.
But isn't the backer just going to sit on the field? It doesn't get banished or anything, right? So what prevents you from just attacking with it for the last
You
100
can.
life points? Yeah.
You can.
And it's protected pretty well with the herald. Are they just discussing the finer points of negating a card that says it can't be negated? You know, it's it's a complicated text.
Yeah. So basically, if you don't know how it works, Baka says that Melodious Fusion Monsters effect cannot get negated. But if you negate the whole card, then it negates also this effect. So that's why you cannot Ash the Baka, but you can, for example, Vader or Imperm the card. And here, this is how it works. So Malice in the Mirror will indeed negate the entire card, so the protection is not here anymore.
Yeah, it's a little confusing sometimes, cards like that, where it says the activated effects can't be negated, but you can negate the effect that stops your effects from being negated, as you said. Whereas, what is it, the Malice Heart Scripter says while it points, it just cannot be negated. So then it's impossible ever to stop it from resolving.
Which is very strong, which is very, very, very strong. I was playing a tournament a week ago, and I was playing Maliss. And, you know, my field was basically the Art Scripter pointing to a Wicked and the Firewall. And the first action was to use X Send Aggregator and targeting the Art Scripter. I was very happy. So we are still solving the situation, but it should be solved in a few moments.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, even if this goes through, I'm really struggling to see how Jay could get out of this, but I can see our head judge going to appear and settle it once and for all as to what's going to happen.
I mean, this is a really weird situation, because of course Kevin is not in a great spot, but Jay isn't as well, because as you stated just before, he has only 1,000 life points, which is a bit hard when you're playing Maliss, and you have the ability to just go into battle phase and get the few damages left.
And Baka is 2,600, right?
It is 25.
25, okay, that's enough.
That is actually enough, yeah.
Yeah, it's still more than the White Binder.
My question is there any card in Jay's hand? Otherwise, it's going to be hard for him to survive this.
The big chain still going to resolve. It looks like Baka was fully negated.
So, effect from the White Binder. So, only 100 life points. This is enough to win a game.
It is enough to win a game. Maybe a Destiny draw as well. See what it is.
And here, I think it's just gonna go into battle phase. He can still use the effect of a refrain as a pendulum card to send another Melodious card from deck to grave, and have some more attack. Oh, and he has a soprano, of course. So the soprano is being able to get back the Chopina.
I feel like sometimes if you don't need to do more things, then you shouldn't do more things.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that it doesn't need to do that.
Because part of me is worried about Nibiru, maybe.
Especially because we saw the Nibiru during the last game. Oh, this is a wrong card. This is the wrong card. So it cannot get destroyed by a battle card effect. And when you battle the opponent's monster, basically you just inflict the difference of attack points into your opponent's life points.
So it does like double damage if it attacks.
It just does the difference.
It does the difference, but what if you do you not also do the battle damage? Or has it got 0 attack or something?
It's got 1,000.
It's got 1,000, so it's meant
It's
to
not
be
a lot.
smaller. Okay. I gotcha.
But it was a great tool against Tenpai during the previous format.
Oh, you just leave it there and they can't do any damage?
Absolutely.
That's good fun.
They have to use, for example, Raigeki or Droplet. So he's going to use MTB, and there is the purple light. It's going to seal the game, I guess, here for Kevin. And Kevin wins the duel against